Hello, dear students. I'm Dr. Kamalpreet Kaur. Welcome to the channel Cloud Campus. Here we have seen Industry Revolution era. Then, in the fifth lecture, we have seen Trade Union Movement era and Social Responsibility era. In this particular lecture, we'll be moving to the next phase of human resource management, and that is Scientific Management era. It started in 1900s to 1920s. The next phase is Scientific Management era. When we say scientific management, it refers to a standardized, a scientific way of doing particular work. So Taylor started finding out one of the best way of doing things based on time and motion studies. On the basis of his experiments, he was able to increase the workers' productivity considerably. Frederick Winslow Taylor is known as father of scientific management. He carried out various experiments in order to identify how productivity of workers can be increased. When we say productivity, it means producing maximum output, maximum units of goods by making best utilization of resources and skills of workers. Certain principles of scientific management are: first one is replacing rule of thumb with science. When we say rule of thumb, it means just making illusions like this work is to be done in this manner. There is no there is no scientific way behind it. And with science, when we say, it means a standardized process. So what Taylor used to do is he divided the work into small tasks, and then he decided how a particular task has to be carried out, what are the steps which a worker need to be, follow in that task, and how much time he need to put into each and every process. Harmony in group action. Cooperation between management and workers. Both are interrelated. Harmony in group action means people need to work in a united way, and cooperation between management and workers is like, you cannot say that only management leads to achievement of organization goal, or only workers need to work so that organization goal can be achieved. Both need to shoulder responsibility, which ultimately leads to achievement of organizational goal and objective. That is, achieving maximum output was that objective at the time. Maximum output in place of restricted output means it is the best way of doing the work so that more and more goods can be produced, not the limited output. Development of workers. Workers who give their best were further developed. Why? So that they can shoulder responsibilities of higher level, and this act as a motivating factor for others also. Job analysis. Job analysis refers to identifying the task or job to be done, finding out the skills required to get it done. So, when I say a person has to put video lectures, this is the task. Now, there are certain skills required, communication skill is required, technical skills is required. So, when all this come together, then only the objective of casting a video can be achieved. So that is what is job analysis. Standardization. It refers to a common way of doing the task. So the supervisors or the foremen used to tell the workers how they need to do a particular job, and all the workers were supposed to carry out the job in the same standardized way. Scientific selection and training of workers. This is important. If we want that a worker should make proper use of his skills. So we need to hire only those people who have that skill. and only those can be placed further in the organization to carry out the task. Mental revolution. This is important. It is changing the attitude of both management and workers. So workers should feel that management is for them, the managers are helping them, and the managers should also have that attitude that they are working for the benefit of the workers and for the organization. See, so both management and workers should work together hand in hand towards betterment of organization. One of the another important concept is financial incentives. Frederick Winslow Taylor was very well known for differential piece rate system. Now what is this? Financial incentive basically means that if a worker is coming to our factory, he cannot work for free. He need to survive and earn his living. He need to work, he look for his family. So he need to be paid out for his work. So Taylor identified a differential piece rate plan. This system was introduced by him with two objectives. The first one, to give sufficient incentive to workmen to induce them to produce up to the best of their capacity, and second, to remove the fear of wage cut. Under this plan, a standard task is established by the technique of time and motion study, which I have told you earlier also. Stopwatch was used and time was calculated for each and every small task. And then two piece rates were set up for each job. A high piece rate was given to who produced equal number of units or more than that, and a low piece rate was given to the workers who were not able to meet the targets. Suppose a worker was given a target to produce 50 units in a day. If he produced 50 or more units, he was given a higher piece rate. But if he produced less than 50, he was given lower piece rate. But there was a disadvantage. Like if a worker was able to achieve a target of 49 units, still a lower piece rate was given. So it was like the workers felt that it was a penalty, very high penalty for them. On the other hand, the management felt that it is a way to penalize the slow and lazy workers and pay incentive to efficient ones. Next is human relation era. Around 1920s, management researchers gave a close look to human factor at workplace and the variables that affect people behavior at work. So, after having a close thought or look on that, a research was conducted and the following conclusions were drawn. The first one is social factor in output. So, organization is a social system. It is not just the formal structure in which the production is merely determined by official perception, but the production norm is set by the social norms. Many non-economic reward affect the behavior of the workers. Now, what is this? So, if we have a group with us, you might be having your group of friends. So, if a friend says, we'll study together, we'll not play, all will study. If a friend says, today we'll just play, I will not study, we'll go to movie. So, it is affecting the behavior of others also. So, that's why we say that the production is affected by the social norm or the group norm. Means if a worker is working in factory and he has some 2 3 friends and they say that today we'll produce 500 units, so all will work together towards producing 500 units. And if there is a lazy person who is affecting the behavior of other people and he says that today will not work much hard and will produce 100 units only. So it's affecting the behavior of others also. So the social factor is coming in the output. Then another thing is many non-economic rewards affect the behavior. Suppose if a person is working, suppose you're studying and your parent say very good, or they say you very well done or something, you work more hard. So similarly with workers also, if a worker is working and a foreman say you're working very nicely, keep it up, so he'll put more efforts. So this is the way. Next is group influence. Of course, the group determine the norm of behavior of the members, and workers, as they are social beings, they develop their own groups. They discuss their problems with each other and they decide a common way of doing the thing or achieving the targets. The third is supervision. It is important to increase efficiency of workers because on the one hand, workers have their own groups, have their own norms, their own behavior. They decide with themselves what has to be done. So it is the supervisor who need to check whether the workers are making effective utilization of the skill and resources. So the supervisor need to be friendly with the workers and should put a genuine concern which motivate the workers and increase their productivity. The fourth important thing is communication. Why it is important? Because it is the communication process through which a workers can put forward the problem to the supervisors. Through this, workers can explain the rationality of particular production and they can participate in the decision making process which affect their own rights. The next is conflicts. Of course, when there is some informal relationship of workers, certain groups are formed. And when these groups are formed, they have their own thinking, which leads to a conflict between the organization and between the group. A group may say that we can produce only 300 units of goods. Organization may say you can produce 400 units, so it may lead to conflict. A group may say that they want a daily wage of 50 rupees. Organization may say it's very high, and they may say no, you'll get a wage of 30 rupees, again a conflict. The next is leadership. Leadership is important for directing group behavior, and this is one of the most important aspect of managerial function. Of course, it is a leader who can influence the behavior of the worker. So leader can be both formal and informal. When we say a formal leader, it is a supervisor or a foreman who's guiding the worker. And he may guide the worker in the right direction so that he can put his maximum efforts to achieve the production. Informal leader, who is this now? Suppose there are four workers. One person is like very dominating kind of, and he may emerge as a leader. Not just dominating, it cannot be just dominating, or one person can be like he listen to each and every other friend of his, and eventually all will start listening towards to listen to him and eventually follow him. So both these kind of leaders, formal and informal leaders, they affect the perception of the group members. So human relation era deal with these these we can say humanly concepts: social factor in output, group influence, supervision, communication, conflict, leadership, which eventually affect the productivity of the organization. These are the references. For any other queries or further discussion, please write to me at clowncampus@gmail.com. Thank you so much. Do like and subscribe the channel. Thanks a lot.